You are tuned in to one of the most minimally watched and listened to film podcasts in the world. But we have existed for over a year now. As of next week, it'll be our 1 year anniversary. We're getting really excited as we come to the brink of Cinema 9. 1 year in the making. I'm thrilled to be joining you. I am Michael Govier. I'm one of the co-hosts of the show, along with Eric Branstrom and Travis Roy. Cinema9pod at protonmail.com. Send us an email. Travis Roy, it is officially April. It's April Fool's Day. You want to fool us with something?
No, I fucking hate April Fool's Day. I mean, I'm fine with like the date of April 1st, but like just the concept of April Fool's Day, I'm not a fan of. But I was happy to wake up to like snow on the ground in Detroit. That was cool. And I visited a massage parlor for the first time today, so that was exciting.
You visited a massage parlor?
Not for any hanky-panky reasons. I've thrown out my shoulder.
On.
I've thrown out my shoulder. I think that they may have been down, to be honest, but that wasn't what I was there for. That's not what happened. I've thrown out my shoulder. I'm actually in a great deal of pain and pretty heavily medicated right now. But so I went to get that rubbed on, and so other than the pain, it's been an interesting but good day.
You threw out your shoulder?
Yeah, I have like an ongoing. My dad just got surgery for the same thing, so apparently it's like a genetic thing. But sometimes my
shoulder issues.
Yeah, sometimes my shoulder gets thrown out, and it's great. It's just
like
very
Mel
stiff
Gibson
movements and
in Lethal Weapon.
I guess I don't know.
Can you put it back in and make money off of it?
No, it's not like I'm not. I don't mean like it's thrown out like dislocated. I just mean like it. Like I've got like some sort of tendon issue, or I don't know. It just fucking screams with pain for a few days, and then it stops. And it's just like an ongoing thing. It's something it's something that my dad dealt with, something I deal with. I don't know.
It's a Roy family tradition. So
yeah.
I'm glad that you're troopering up and joining us for the show. Congratulations. Thank you for toughing it out, as they say in the United States of America.
Thanks.
Eric Branstrom, April Fool's Day. Not everybody loves it. In fact, some would say that the internet basically ruined April Fool's Day. It was a lot more fun before the internet when people relied on information. What do you think of that?
I'm wondering if, before the show, you mentioned that the Bill Murray film, What About Bob, is highly overrated. Was that an April Fool's Day joke, or were you serious?
Oh, no, that I've seen it many times, and I know people love Bill Murray. You're not supposed to say anything bad about Bill Murray.
This is the contrarian's new kick now. Bill Murray is overrated. Blah blah blah. This is like the third or fourth time. This is like this is. I mean, okay,
this is
not always a contrarian, but I mean like
Bill Murray.
But you've made this clear on the show before. You feel like this is definitely not an April 1st thing. CBD lotion. Our friend Chris recommends for my shoulder. Thank you, Chris. I might give it a shot.
You're listening to Shoulder Talk with Mike and Travis. Oh, there.
Lotion. It's Lotion Pod. What's your favorite lotion? Call now. 734-4. No, just kidding.
Send us an email.
But What About Bob? It's part of these types of films that I don't really like to watch as much anymore, like Meet the Parents, or like where everything goes wrong for somebody and it's just miserable for that character, but everyone else is laughing at the experience. So it's not a Bill Murray thing. It's just those types of movies. I don't like Meet the Parents that much anymore. It's not fun for me to watch somebody go through this agony. All these terrible things just keep happening, and everyone's laughing, and they're ignoring it and loving it.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I sat down and watched, I'm wearing the shirt right now, but I sat down and watched What About Bob last year, and I may have mentioned this on the show, but I was a little underwhelmed as well. I was like, these mental health issues are not funny. This is not a joking matter.
There we go.
The whole time I'm just like, what the fuck? They're joking about suicide here. This is fucked.
Yeah.
Maybe my sense of humor has gone to shit. I don't know.
No, you still got it. I think you still got it. But that kind of goes to my point. At any rate, yeah. What About Bob? That's a great shirt regardless. In fact, our friend Jamie Andrews also has that shirt. So you guys could twinsy it. You guys should twinsy it.
We can get together and be unhassled and local.
Yes, you definitely could. Well, this is Cinema 9 Pod, and today's main event's going to be another Clive Owen feature. It's unprecedented. Never in the history of this podcast have we done back-to-back.
Never happened.
We've never done back-to-back Clive Owen.
No one
yes.
has.
We've never done double back-to-back any main actors, have we? I don't think.
I would doubt it. Maybe Tom Cruise got thrown in there. I don't know, but
yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be the only guy I could think of. But Clive Owen stars
guys
with
Clive
Julie
now?
Andrews. No.
Could you do another Clive?
I love Clive. I thought we covered this last week. It did shoot him up and things went south. And like Travis said, he reappeared for The Nick, which Travis liked. But that's pretty much it. So I don't know what happened to Clive exactly. I hope he's out there doing well. And we're gonna talk about Children of Men, a 2006 film. Does it hold up or not? It's our second to last episode before our 1 year anniversary extravaganza next Thursday. We're going to be doing a movie that we will reveal at the end of the show. We're doing a clip show, but then after that, we're going to do the movie that we have planned this out for a couple months already. So if you can guess it, if you want to take a stab at it here in the live comments, you can try. But at the end of the show, we will reveal next week's film, and I'm very excited for it. But first, the SAGs are coming up on Sunday. Those are the Screen Actors Guild Awards, for those of you that are unaware. And Travis, are you excited for the SAG Awards ceremony?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to figure out how to watch TBS. I'm not really sure how to do that, but I'll figure it out by Sunday.
I can help you out with that. Text me later.
Yes. Okay. What is this? TBS, is it?
Yeah.
TNT. I'm supposed to look at dynamite. I don't know. But I've been trying to catch up and dutifully see the movies as much as I can. The shows, I'm not that interested in the shows, because I haven't really been keeping up with them. I'm not watching them. So all the stuff for the television, I'm not as interested in. But yeah, I'm stoked.
Yay! I know you take the SAGs pretty seriously, Eric. So I assume you're going to be watching a little bit.
Yeah, I'm supporting Chadwick Boseman for a lead. I'm supporting Frances McDormand, the female lead. Daniel Kaluuya for supporting, and Yo Jong Yoon for Minari for supporting female. So a lot of good picks. I'm fine with all those if they take the gold.
Can you guys guess how old the SAG is, or did you guys look it up? Do you know how long the SAG Awards have been around?
I'm looking at it right now, so I can happily tell you if you'd like to know.
No, I see it, and I just would not have guessed this. I just noticed it on the website.
So obviously the Screen Actors Guild has been around forever, but not forever, but for a very long time. But the awards, not as long as you would think.
It's true, 27 years, surprising. So we're older than the SAG Awards, guys. How about that? Is that fun?
Isn't it fun? It goes back to the last century, at least. I mean, that's something, I guess.
One thing they do that is. Oh, big laugh for that one. One thing they do that I really enjoy is the ensemble. You don't see that a lot, and there's been some great ensemble wins over the years. And Defy Blood, great cast that's up there this year. Ma Rainey's incredible cast. So what are you guys thinking here?
Go ahead.
There's still like one or two major features. I've seen most of the big ones at this point, stuff that's nominated for both the Oscars and for SAG. So I only need to see The Father, Promising Young Woman, and Minari. But I'm still pretty underwhelmed by a lot of the selections of last year. So out of like what's like cast in a motion picture, we're looking at Defy Bloods, One Night in Miami, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, or The Trial of Chicago 7. Out of those movies, that I've seen, to me, Defy Bloods is a clear winner. But yeah, I could see the Trial of Chicago 7 winning as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that, Travis. I think it'll win just because it's got such a monstrous cast. Even though Defy Bloods has an equally good cast, it just seems like it's got this a little bit of a social commentary / political commentary edge to it that might get a nod for the times we are in. That's
You're saying Defy Bloods doesn't have a political comment that it's making?
I think the Chicago 7 has a slightly more. I mean, it's about Defy Bloods it's about Vietnam buddies and what's going on with a lot of issues in that time. But this one's even more blatant, just by a nose. It's really not even that much, but that'd be my only guess.
This has definitely been the year of because you throw in Judas and the Black Messiah. It's definitely been a year of like looking to the lessons of like the civil rights era and being like, hey, look at all the lessons we didn't learn. we're trying to let's make a movie about it. Maybe we'll learn it now if we award it properly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that at all. But the SAGs will be fun. I'll help you out with that TBS. It's getting to a point now where every channel is going to have its own streaming service. So we have to pay millions of dollars at a certain point here for every fucking channel streaming service. Peacock, Disney, Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max.
I canceled Paramount Plus. Worthless. I mean, unless you
Paw Patrol didn't sell you.
It's just like all that's on there is like the movies you've seen a million times. Like, great. When I want to watch Godfather, when I want to watch Back to the Future, I know what to download for a month, or what to, get a month membership to. But like, there's really no reason to have this goddamn thing.
Yeah, it's so true. And even with some of the big franchises like Mission Impossible, they're not going straight to this service like some of the HBO films are giving us.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I hope the SAGs are fun. I'll pop in on Sunday. I have nothing else to do with my life. Yeah, I'll do a little pop in. We'll stop and chat with the SAGs. It's going to be a good time. So don't miss the SAG Awards, folks. It's going to be a doozy. Travis Roy. Let's switch gears, as they say. It was awkward. Let's get into quarantine viewing picks. Travis, are you fully or half vaccinated?
I am fully vaccinated. I'm a fully vaccinated human person.
Yeah!
Hence the massage today. I would not have spent an hour in a room with a stranger otherwise.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. That's so wonderful, man. I cannot wait to be like you. I gotta get active and get one of these damn vaccines. I feel like there's one out there for me somewhere.
Get on it, man. I mean, it's a 5-week process. If you're lucky, once you get it started, anyways. Okay, because it's 3 to 4 weeks after the first shot, and then another 2 weeks after the second shot before you're fully done. Plus the time spent waiting for the first appointment. It's a process, man. It's not just jump in and get it done.
Well, the point is, there's still COVID-19 out there, and we have quarantine viewing picks. For those of you that don't have the vaccine and are hunkering down, we're here to serve you. Travis Roy, before our 1-year anniversary show, what do you got for us this week? Everything is in relation to the 1-year anniversary show, apparently.
Yeah, don't worry. Even vaccinated, I'm still going to be a fucking lump and live on my couch watching TV. I turned off Bad Trip at 40 minutes in, the new Eric Andre movie that people are reviewing well. I like Eric Andre a lot, and I was prepared to laugh. I put it on late at night when I was buzzed up and like ready to laugh, and this was fucking stupid. I hated it. And I just turned it off. I was amazed at myself. I was prepared to have a great time, but I watched at recommendation of the our former host or co-host Chad Gibbons. He recommended The Wages of Fear from 1953.
Yes. Oh,
yeah. It was a good movie. You've seen it, Eric, right?
Love it. I love it.
Right. Like, no one could argue this is a great movie, and it was. I mean, but still, it's it's black and white, 4, 5, 6 languages, I think, going on. Like, I put it at around 9 a.m. I finished it sometime around 9 p.m. that day. Watch it little chunks. Eric, Chad described it as like riveting. I would say like the last hour of the 2.5 hours is riveting. There's a lot of setup going on before it's about a convoy, and before like the wheels even start turning, it's like a full hour goes by. So it takes some doing, but it was definitely excellent, and I could see why it's still talked about 50 years later. I dropped the $6.99 on Supernova, and it was well worth it. Yeah, Supernova was awesome. I'm really surprised that Stanley Tucci wasn't nominated for anything here. Like, this is probably the performance of his career. I'm sorry, Liz Phair is not in the film. I don't understand.
Lilith Fair? Is there Lilith Fair involved or mentioned at any point?
Supernova. It's a fucking great song by Liz Phair. I'm just saying.
I see. Like, I'm not living in your brain, so I didn't know what the fuck where that came from. But yeah, so Supernova. Colin Firth was also really good. But if you like Stanley Tucci, man, like this movie was. I mean, like it's a little bit of a grind. It's sad. I sent you guys a picture. I was crying 20 minutes into this movie.
Oh, that's what it was. I was wondering what that was.
That's what it was. I was crying to Supernova 20 minutes in. But man, it was good. It was really good. I watched USS Indianapolis: Men of Courage, starring Nick Cage.
You'll watch anything with Nicolas Cage.
I will watch fucking anything with Nicolas Cage. Absolutely. I'm gonna watch. My goal is to watch everything with Nicolas Cage. I mean, he's got 106 or 108 or something under his belt right now. I'm gonna watch them all. And you know what? This was pretty good. This was pretty good. Now it's got a terrible title. It's got a fucking terrible title, but like a lot of people in Jaws, that whole really intense scene when they're talking about this, I remember like thinking, oh, this would make a great movie. Why don't they make a movie out of this? And then they do it. And like the first, I don't know, like in a lot of ways, it's a hard watch because you're watching people fucking get picked off one by one. And it's real, like it's a true story. This is if you're not familiar, the story is that the ship went down and these men spent 4 days in the ocean, dehydrating, starving, dying of overexposure, and being picked off by sharks. And then to top it all off, like there's like this whole other scandal that like took place, like that, like there's that ties it all up at the end. So it's a low budget movie. Like it's a really important story with a really low budget, and they got the best actors they could afford, like Tom Sizemore doing probably the best stuff he's done in a long time, like Tom Jane, like, you know, like guys that are good actors, but like generally have been kind of doing a lot of shit lately. And the special effects are just terrible. I mean, they're like Sci-Fi Channel in the 90s terrible. Like these special effects are bad. But like there's some really terrible fucking actors in here. I know I'm really selling this movie, and there's some really terrible actors in here. But by the end of the movie, I was really sold. I'm like, I'm glad that someone made this movie, that this story was told. In particular, the character, the person, the human person, McAvoy, that or McVeigh rather, that Cage plays. Like this guy got fucked over. It's like he's got an important story that should be told, and so I'd recommend that. Last but not least, you guys, I've got a movie that I'm really excited about, and I don't want to like. I want other people to watch this movie so I can talk about it with them. You know, like when you watch a movie, and you're like, oh, I just want to talk about people. I just want to talk about it. Yeah, well, the reason I watched it is because it's nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, and I've heard very little else about it. I'm talking about The White Tiger on Netflix. Have either of you guys seen this movie or heard anything about it?
I started it and I couldn't get into the mood, so I paused it briefly. I think I'll get around to it.
Oh man, yeah, I'd recommend going back in. Right. Now, if it didn't grab you right off the bat, it might not grab you at all, because I found it like I was riveted. I was fucking. This is one of the most fascinating character studies I've seen in years.
Wow, big talk,
cool.
Big talk.
Really cool opening. It had like that. I'm sorry, but like,
go ahead.
You know how like a movie will open, it'll be like freeze frame, will be like, whoa, we can't start here. Let's go back. Like I couldn't do it right at that point, but I'll get around to it.
Yeah, there are weak moments in the movie, and honestly, the opening and ending are maybe kind of the weakest moments. But so it's not like without flaw. But the lead actor and again the character, like the character work, is in terms of development of a character. I mean, I strongly recommend The White Tiger, and that's it. That's my views for this week.
Well, Christ, Mario Van Peebles directed. I'm gonna let this play out for a while.
Oh, you can talk over. This is Supernova by Liz Fair. Fantastic.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay. Again, we okay.
Go ahead, Eric. You can talk about this.
Anyway, yeah. I used to dig Mario Van Peebles' films, New Jack City, Posse, back in the early 90s, and like I was like, why isn't this guy directing anymore? He's a good filmmaker. I had no idea he directed Men of Courage.
His father's a big deal too.
Yeah, he was. And he did a good job. And that was another that's what I'm saying. Like they got like a lot of the best that they could get clearly for the budget.
The best that you can get is for living a God between the moon and
someone hitting you?
Yeah, someone's been hitting me, guys. I gotta tell you, I haven't thought about Mario Van Peebles in a long time. So that'll be. I'm gonna move that up the list because that was a strong recommendation, and I didn't even heard of it. I hadn't heard of that at all. So I
again, like it's low budge, but it's worth seeing.
Oh, I don't care.
Cover boxes.
If anything, check out White Tiger first.
I watched garbage. I watched Romper Stomper. I can watch anything. Low budget garbo trash. So, all right, Eric Brandstrom, what can you offer us for this week? I know you're busy. You're a parent. You got a job. You're a husband. You're a very busy human being.
I wasn't busy enough to pass up the opportunity to watch The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage,
yeah. You know, I got some family in town, and they wanted to see it, so I'm like, well, Christ, I mean, we got Nicolas Cage. I dug it.
It's enjoyable.
I dug it. You got John Turteltaub, who's totally competent. I think the film would have been shit if it wasn't for a competent director. John Turteltaub. Cool Runnings, the National Treasure films. That's what he's doing. So it's just a fun Jerry Bruckheimer action movie. I liked it.
It's entertaining as hell.
Jay Baruchel. Aside from a quick rewatch of Misery and In the Line of Fire, I checked out Godzilla vs. Kong last night. So HBO Max. I had zero interest. In fact, I'm going to let you know a little secret. The only Godzilla film I've ever seen is the Roland Emmerich 1998 film. I've never, ever seen any of the old Japanese Kong films. I don't know anything about this new like reboot, Kong Skull Island, or any of these two Godzilla. So I had I didn't care. I was like, all right, whatever. I couldn't
really care less.
It. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, Mike.
Huh.
Dude,
All right.
I actually was gonna, if it wasn't for my shoulder, I was gonna go see it in theaters today. Was my plan.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
I'm gonna
blowing
go.
up. It's doing great at the box office.
I've got
It's
HBO
fun.
Max, and like I could sit here, I could watch it tonight if I want to, but I decided it's gonna be my theater return. I was gonna do Minari.
Wow.
What the fuck am I talking about? Why would I go see some drama? No, I'm gonna go see some stupid. I'm gonna watch monsters hate each other. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I recommend it seen as soon as possible. These films get accused of having these boring human characters, and you're just waiting around for the monsters to fight. It's kind of half the case and half not. You got like the little girl that plays 11 and the kid that plays Belsnickel from those Christmas movies. Their B story is like could easily go, but you got a lot of fun dynamic with Alexander Skarsgård, Rebecca Hall. I dug the film. I thought it was fun, and I didn't think I was going to care at all. A bunch of cartoon monsters fighting each other. I kind of really liked it. So, and that's it. I mean, it's been a weird week for me.
Wow. Okay. Kong, Godzilla. I've never been into those movies at all. So
Again,
it's no disrespect to the
me
current
neither.
movies. I never saw the original. I've seen clips of Godzilla, whatever. Something about Japan, something, I think. Is that true? Like he
Japan
destroys
War.
Japan.
Yeah.
Is Godzilla a man? Or is it not a man, but
They.
is it a male?
Godzilla's a they.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
his pronouns right, dude.
I feel like Kong was a male. Kong was a male. He had
Kong's very much a dude. I think Godzilla
Okay.
is just like a creature, like kind of transcends gender. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Am I wrong on that?
He's from the Hollow Earth, and I don't know what the pronoun situation is down there.
Has nobody ever asked these questions before?
He is a giant monster. Does he have a giant dong hitting buildings? That's the question. I've never seen that in the picture. So either Godzilla is female or out poorly hung. I don't know where I'm going with this. Your turn.
I grew up on Mallrats, where he was obsessed with the Thing's orange dork. That's how I think. So, anyways, wanted to let you guys know Periscope no longer exists. Today is the first. This is not an April Fool's joke. No April Fool's bullshit here. This is the first day post Periscope Life. It shut down yesterday, so we're no longer directly on Twitter with our feed. So find our YouTube channel to watch these live streams or our Facebook page. But it's easier if you just sub our YouTube channel, Cinema 9 Pod. Just type it in and you'll find it. I've also posted a link on our Twitter page so you can see where the show is. There's just no more Periscope. I don't know what's going on now.
You said that. I thought that doesn't affect my life at all. Why are you telling me this? But it turns out it does.
Only slightly. Only slightly. All right. So, yeah, I just want to get that on the air. And I watched.
We'll always have down Periscope, though. The Kelsey Grammer, Lauren Holly film.
Yeah, and Patton Oswalt's first film, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, really?
Can't take it away from us.
See, I wouldn't know that because I've never seen that fucking film. That's why.
I've never seen it either. I just read his book.
All right. So here's what I watched this week. I settled in and I was so engrossed in. Oh, by the way, we replaced our Periscope feed with the Twitch feed. So we are on Twitch now. That's the third rail here, in case you guys wanted to know that. So it's Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. Those are our three streams, just so you guys are aware. I watched the Snyder Cut, and man, I was just so engrossed in this thing. And I don't know if it's good or not because I was just so into it. It was like an experience for me, and I was really surprised at how intensely drawn to. I mean, I just watched it nonstop, 4 hours straight. I just could not turn it off.
Yeah, me too.
And I really, really dug it. I walked away after it was all said and done, and I was like, man, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. And I don't know what that says about me. I don't know if it's good or not. I know there's been some people, I mean, the ratings, IMDb is pretty high, but I think that's just because of the win. People feel like it's a victory for non-studio folks. Well, victory for our side,
That IMDb rating, I think, is going to work against it. Some people are going to see that and be like, what the fuck? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, it is not like, it's like an 8.6 or something, or something really high. Like, it's just
higher than The Godfather.
Yeah,
wow.
Back that up a bit. It is really good.
Yeah, I dug it. I also thought of this last night. On any day of the week, I'm not trying to be contrarian. This is just how I really feel. I really dig Jeremy Irons over Michael Caine any day as Alfred. I fucking love Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I'm a big Jeremy Irons Alfred guy, and I just got to be there. I'm going to stand tall on that. I just love he always owns everything he's in. I'm a big fan of his. I really am.
Shit, man, when I'm sitting here, I'm not trying to think of who I prefer as an actor now. I mean, like, I love Michael Caine, but like,
I do too.
Jeremy Irons is like, everybody knows and loves Michael Caine, as they should, but like, Jeremy Irons is, I mean, like, People respect him, but not everyone even like. He doesn't have that same name recognition even after the same decades, same body of work. And the dude is just, I mean, he's incredible. I mean, he's just so formidable.
Yeah, I would agree with it. I think you're right. I think people clearly Michael Caine is the more reputable actor, but he's I think he's like 10 or so years older than Jeremy too. I don't know. He's not as old as you might think. Jeremy Irons is 72, so he's not dead yet, but still, he's had a full life of acting. And
well, we can let him. We can put him out to pasture then.
I mean, he could play Alfred.
Can we execute him?
Yeah, he could play Alfred and be like
green.
kind of in. Oh boy, he can be there and be Alfred, and he can also be Simon Gruber with the blonde hair, and he pulls it off. So I got a lot of respect for him, and I thought he was a great Alfred. And that'll be the sad part for me is I actually like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. I like how, and now it's all gone. So it kind of feels like I wish we never did this now because it just kind of reinvigorated me to be like, oh, I want to go in the direction of. I love Ezra Miller as the Flash. I love Ezra Miller.
I gotta say, after seeing him fleshed out a lot more, because in the other version I was like, who fucking cares? I really liked him as the Flash. I really liked him, and I really liked what's the other dude's name?
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher. I always want to say Ray Parker. Ray Fisher.
See the dude that played that modem?
Martial art master?
No, Ray Parker Jr., right? Who did
Ghostbusters
thing? Oh yeah.
That's what I don't know why. I guess because anyways. But yeah, no, both those guys, I thought they really killed it in those roles, and like two characters from Marvel, from DC that like haven't been really getting fair shakes in cinema. So it was nice to see that.
Completely agree. I love the Cyborg. I love Flash. Wonder Woman. It was nice to see Wonder Woman back in this role. After 84, though, it kind of sours her experience for me a little bit, which is a bummer that 84 did that. Otherwise, that's it. I think you should watch it. If you saw the Justice League, which I did see in theaters, I saw it at a Dollar Theater in Maryland. It was a lovely Tuesday evening, and it was pretty lame. I remember. It was pretty lame. So give this one a shot. You can break it up too. Watch it in chunks. It doesn't have to be 4 consecutive hours of nonstop Snyder Cut. Trust me.
Did you think that that villain Steppenwolf kind of looked like those like Mucinex creatures in that commercial for that medicine?
No, I actually never
those
considered
snot
that,
creatures.
I do see the texture of their faces being similar now. You're right. Yeah,
Mucinex.
I didn't think of it though. That was Sierra and Hines, though. That's cool. I like Sierra.
It was. I love the voice of the Steppenwolf. I actually did like that villain. He was cool. He just looked like Mucinex.
Yeah, and like there's more going on.
We actually see Darkseid. I mean, that was
It this hierarchy of the villains I thought was cool. People are like, okay, well, who's the bad guy? But I like that hierarchy. It's like I answered him, and then but without a second part, it's like, but with this just its own entity, like where you go from there, who cares about this hierarchy if like we're not get into the meat and potatoes.
Yes. See that
mashed potatoes and gravy. Wait, sorry.
Murray. I couldn't be happier with baby steps.
Would you stop that?
Leo, did you want the breast?
Okay. It's a funny movie. It is funny. I don't hate it, but change my mind in 5 seconds. I will say that that pulling that part out of the movie really gives it some more definition to me. And that's why I actually see a world now where maybe we're like, why do we limit movies to 2 hours? Why don't we just start doing, because they always complain, movie people will complain that TV shows have the advantage because they can flesh out a lot more over a whole arc because they have more time to deal with. But if we're going to be stuck at home and never go to the movie theater again, there's no need for 2-hour movies anymore because we could break it up in chunks. I actually think there's some legitimacy to that point. I really do.
I think that you're the man that invented the miniseries. Watch. I Know This Much Is True. It was excellent, and it's a 6-hour movie. Basically, it's just a fucking 6-hour movie. Is really all it is.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
It was so good.
I know you recommended it, and I have. There's no reason for me not to watch it.
I would like move that. Yeah, and he is nominated on Sunday for best actor in a limited drama.
Mark Ruffalo.
Too. Yeah, so hopefully, I'd like to see him win that for that.
Awesome.
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. And by the way, I love the parademons. I don't care. I know they're lame, but I like the parademons. They look cool. That's it. That's all I want to say about them.
The parrot demons.
The parrot demons. Is it
you
parrot?
Are saying
parademons.
Parademons. I'm saying parrot. I'm not saying parrot.
Okay, I was here. Sea urchins or street urchins? Just all Bill Murray movies.
Oh, doctor. All right, so I went. Yaphet Kotto died, like we laughed about last week, which was kind of uncool. Maybe we should not have.
I should laugh about his death.
No. I cued the laugh track. It's my fault. I take responsibility. But I watched. I went back to The Running Man. I'm like, let's go check in on The Running Man. And I love this film. I'm a huge fan of this film, but I didn't. I don't know. It didn't have that same. I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I'm like, this isn't as great as I remember. But it is prescient. I will give it tremendous credit. They even have a post show, which is a real thing, reality TV. And now we have like the Walking Dead, like what's that show afterwards where they talk about
Talking Dead?
They canceled the Talking Dead. Like, I'm pretty sure. I hope they did. I mean, God,
they do it for other shows too, like the Housewives and shit like that. So whatever, it's a thing.
Shows
and that's
about
in
the
the Running
show.
Man.
Right.
Yeah, they were doing that in '87. It's pretty cool. I'll give them credit for that. But
doesn't football do that too?
yes, football has always done that. That is a good point.
point.
Yes, and it makes no sense. Richard Dawson literally says, "All right, this is our halftime show." I'm like, halftime? This is not football. This is very strange.
It's a sport.
You're right. Maybe there's more football references than I realized. And then I watched Midnight Run, which I hadn't seen since I was a kid.
Okay.
And again, it's actually a bizarre film. It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
There's like a heart to it, but it's supposed to be a comedy, but it's rated R with like a bunch of action and chase scenes galore. It's like they're trying to follow the Blues Brothers in like this action-packed chase scenes all over the place, but then they're trying to make a real serious film about a guy. What is he doing with his life? It's very, very interesting. I will say that, but I think it's kind of a mess as a film. But I love Charles Grodin, and I know you watched Clifford recently, so Eric, you could appreciate Charles Grodin.
Absolutely, man. From Beethoven all the way, I'll go way back.
Remember he had his own talk show? You guys remember that?
I dug it. I liked this talk show.
You saw it?
Yeah, I did. He was like dry, but like he was entertaining. I liked it.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I vaguely recall that.
It was like on CNN or something, right? It was like it's like a Larry King show. Wow, I didn't catch it very often. I apologize. I did not mean any disrespect. I went back
Charles,
to check
you
out.
hear that? He means no disrespect. He
We're
apologizes.
gonna cue a laugh track if you die next week.
Is he alive? Charles Grodin, dead or alive? True or false?
He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive.
Wow.
He guest stars on Curb, doesn't he? Isn't he Larry's?
No, he guest stars on.
Who do I see him on? Yeah.
Oh shit! What was it? He was.
Yeah. What?
Guest. Was it the Kaminsky Method?
Oh yeah,
man.
you always bring up that show. That makes sense. It's old white guys.
There's something he's been popping in on
Someone's
recently.
doctor or therapist or something.
Are we all looking at once?
I
Yeah,
think we are.
We look at IMDb show.
Louis. It was on Louis.
Louis, that's it. Yeah, Louis. Oh,
Is that what we're thinking of? Jesus,
I'm
that's
thinking
not,
of Louis. Yeah, he's Louis'
that's not
therapist.
recent. And yeah,
Oh, it was 5
We
years
be
ago,
talking
6
about
years
that?
ago.
Can we not
Dr.
talk
Bigelow.
about Louis? Or?
He played Dr. Bigelow on Louis.
we're allowed to
yeah.
talk about it. I don't give a flying fuck. I'm just saying. I think it was 6 years ago.
Yeah, and he is in his 80s. Congratulations, Mr. Grodin. Wonderful
Yeah,
news.
he's earned his retirement.
Clever.
Like, he doesn't have to work. Sit
I'm
by the
waiting-
beach or whatever.
Hackman or Grodin? I don't know who's going to go first. It's a tight race.
Oh shit! Okay.
Every day we wake up and ask ourselves, which one of these fuckers is dead first?
Oh, we got a guy watching on Twitch.
Oh,
wow, this is so
shit.
cool. This is our first Twitch comment ever.
Okay,
GhostHand246. Hello, GhostHand246. And
You talking about Clifford?
It feels like a slight satire with the absurdist humor that kind of clashes with the more serious elements of the film. I think he's talking Midnight Run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's talking
he's-
Clifford.
Or maybe, that could describe both movies, actually. You're right. So
There's some deep political commentary in Clifford, as I recall.
Oh yeah.
a dinosaur world.
Socioeconomic.
I went back and watched the Chicago 7 because I only seen it once, and I wanted to make sure I felt after you were so impressed by it.
Oh
I'm like,
my
I'll go
God.
back and watch it again. And I
You
really,
confirm it?
I liked it even more the second time. I like
So
it
good.
much more. I think it has a lot of repeat watchability, which
Yeah,
is good
absolutely.
news for that film. Yeah. Something you can throw on over and over again and, just really enjoy all the pain and sorrow everyone's going through. It's it's an intense film. But you're right. The script is great. And Mark Rylance is
It's
fantastic.
so good. Mark Rylance is so good.
He
So
is.
Eddie Redmayne, did he win you over? Do you think he's dry or does he earn his keep?
I remember where I heard that. It was on the Bill Simmons podcast. He said he was miscast, and I disagree. I think that's a strong comment. I don't think he was miscast, but it wasn't terrible either. So I don't really know where that. Oh, what we got here? Swing Juice. I've never heard of Swing Juice.
Swing
You're
Kids,
muted, so
back.
we don't know. What's it called? Swing
Oh,
Kids?
Swing Juice.
Swing Kids, the beer.
Swing Kids, the beer.
Christian
Sorry,
Bale
I didn't
presents
mean to
Swing
dislodge.
Kids, the beer.
That was more for those viewing, not listening. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I'm always excited to learn about beer. People love beer. They're very passionate about it. You know
don't
how it
love
is.
beer, though.
So
No, I
Sorkin's
don't.
next, Mike. You getting ready for Being the Ricardos? Aaron Sorkin is returning to write and direct the story of Desi and Lucy Arnett.
Really?
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's playing Lucy?
Nicole Kidman somehow.
Whoa, what is this supposed to be? Is this like
It's like a,
50s
it's like
time
a,
or
yeah.
later?
Well, it's like a day on this. It's like on the set from like the table read and into the filming, and then like some of the behind the scenes shit that was going on between Lucy and Desi. So I mean, it's Aaron Sorkin. Come on.
I mean,
Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz.
there are not many more capable actors than Nicole Kidman, so I'm sure she'll kill it. She's not who I would have thought of, but I'm sure
No, me
I'm
neither.
sure she'll be great. Who's playing Arnez? Do you know?
Javier
I'm looking.
Bardem.
Javier Bardem, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That'd be amazing.
That makes funny sense. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. I'd like to see him in something a little more, I don't know, where he's not like eating babies or whatever.
And J.K. Simmons and Aaliyah Shawkat, they
Okay.
play the what are they? Fred and Myrtle, the other couple on that show. You know, I can't remember their character
Sounds
names.
promising. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're Fred and Ethel, right?
Yeah, thank you. Whatever. I have not seen I Love Lucy in a very long time.
Yeah, we're
I
just
missed
pulling
that.
from our like the baby boomer lizard brain right now.
But you're right. I
Way
love
back.
Sorkin though. I can't think of a Sorkin movie I don't enjoy. I just
Wow.
love the way he writes, and I know sometimes it's not for everybody, but I just can't get enough of it. I'm down with it. I've always have
And
been.
his TV shows. I mean, what was it? Was it Newsroom? Fucking
The Newsroom. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Newsroom was great.
So
I've
And
never
even
seen
the
The
West
West
Wing.
Wing.
I don't
I've
love the
never
West
seen
Wing,
it.
but it's,
I watched many seasons. I stopped when Netflix they were missing the DVD, the physical DVD. They didn't have like disc 3 of like season 5 or whatever.
What?
And after that, it was all over. I never went back. But yeah, I got at least to there.
my God.
The story
Well,
of
that's
my life.
frustrating. Yeah,
The man is
I'm
a
sorry to hear
genius,
that.
The
Yeah,
History
he
of My
is.
Skin by Charles Sims.
The History of My Skin. That's a great kill drama song. We should fire that up. I can fire that up right now.
My neighbor let me borrow his Clinique.
All right, yeah. So I watched Johnny Dangerously. It's an '84 film,
I know it.
1984.
Love it.
Jesus.
I'm standing here with my dong in my hand. Philip Bosco.
Just that's great. Peter Boyle. Yes,
Oh,
that's
Peter
a Peter
Boyle.
Boyle.
Sorry,
line.
it's Peter
Yeah,
Boyle.
yeah.
I always get them two mixed up. Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Thank you
I
for-
didn't know this film was directed by Amy Heckerling. That was a new experience for me.
Okay.
I had seen it before, but I hadn't watched it in a long time, and it was I didn't know that, so that's cool. I love Amy Heckerling. She does good work.
yeah, really
She's
good.
Great at comedy. Great at comedy. I can't
Funny
think of a
movie.
comedy she's done that's not that great. And yes, it's slapstick humor, and it's at its finest, and it's a period. So it's a period piece set from a period of time that is 30 years old now. It's really weird. It's filmed from '84, but it's about the early 1900s. It's very odd, but I laughed a lot, and I want to give Michael Keaton a lot of credit for that because he was funny dude. All right, yeah, it's a great film. And then I watched The Social Network because I was on the Sorkin kick, and
Oh,
I wanted.
shit.
Did I text you guys this, or did I just dream it? Like, how pissed would you be if you were one of the people in this film that were They were basically misrepresented. I know the film's based on a true story. Facebook, it was created. It's a real thing. Mark Zuckerberg, real character, real human being. Sean Parker, played by Justin Timberlake, real guy, created Napster. But everything about Sean Parker's character is like wildly over the top and inaccurate. And I just wondered, where do you draw the line with these biopics or like these historical retellings where they have real things so people will believe what's happening, even if some of the other stuff that's made up is bullshit? I have a real problem with that. It bothers me. And I know there's poetic license and shit, but I don't know.
Dude, I'm with you. I mean, this is part of the problem I had with that Billie Holiday movie. Like, people are all going to have this impression that she did these things that people speculate that she may have done or may not have done. There's speculation about it, but there's no hard proof.
You
And
can't
then-
present it as fact just because it's entertainment.
But see, I've made this argument before about JFK, and you guys, the movie JFK from Oliver Stone, you guys both like, oh, but like, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's wildly
Oh, yeah,
inaccurate.
okay.
It is wildly inaccurate. I
It's
agree.
so entertaining.
Yeah, so if you like it, it's cool, but if you don't like it, it's not cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just checking if that's the metric we're using here.
Well, let's ask Ghost Hand. Ghost Hand 246 says the
Oh.
tricky thing about presenting alive people
Right.
in a movie. That's why people tend to not delve too much into and prefer sopties of the ones that are
I
dead.
can't see it.
SOPTIES. Ghost Hand. I don't know that word. Is that a word?
Ghost Hand, I'm going to take your word for it.
Could be a typo. I don't know.
They prefer movies of the ones that are dead.
Probably
Maybe they meant
stories.
movies, so.
Probably stories.
Oh, yeah, stories. Yep, stories. You nailed it. Ding, 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 ding. You're smart. You're a wise man. Back and to the left. Thank you, Steve. Yes, thank you, Steve. We appreciate that. All right, yeah, so that's some of the stuff I watched. Thank you so much. Those are our quarantine viewing picks. We had a really good time sharing that with you. Don't forget, cinema9pod at protonmail.com. You can send us an email or DM us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, where we have wonderful, wonderful daily posts about movie anniversaries, film reviews. You never know what these guys are going to post. You guys always got your hands in something. You guys are a tricky bunch, I'll say that. But that's enough of the nonsense. It's now time for the main event.
Oh, boy.
Our signature segment, Does It Hold Up? It's April Fool's Day, and we're going to find out, does Children of Men, a 2006 film starring Clive Owen, Julianne Moore, and so many more, does it hold up?
That's the question. Although this is a listener's choice. You know, one of the fun things about listener's choice and all that kind of stuff is that we end up looking at movies often that we probably wouldn't have otherwise looked at, because we've looked at like things like RoboCop and Back to the Future and North by Northwest, things that we were pretty sure we're going to hold up, classics. And I would put that in this category. Like I would not have picked this movie for the show because I never really would have had a question whether or not it holds up. That said, I'm excited to talk about it because there's plenty to unpack here, and it's going to be fun, I think.
Well, it's Children of Men. It's a 2006 movie. So we go back to 2006 and we remember the good old days. We were in our mid-20s. We were having a great time. Travis had just got me a monkey portrait for my birthday. It was really nice. That was a good year. I thank you for that birthday gift. I still have it on my wall to this day in my bedroom. So every night I can fall asleep looking at a monkey with a pair of headphones on. And that's all we are in the end. We're just monkeys with headphones on. Like Eric or you or me. In fact, all three of us are wearing headphones. Wow, that's so cool.
We are primates.
Travis, 2006. Did you see this in the theater? I think you saw this in the theater. I think you did.
I believe I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't know. My life's a blur. I saw it when it was new. I saw it was new. I enjoyed it. I was part of the people that saw the movie. But this movie's amazing, and watched it several times since. Hadn't been that long since I've seen it. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 years. I mean, a few years.
Oh, that's years.
Well, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, there's so many fucking movies. I can only rewatch stuff so many times. I was looking at my list of movies that I've been keeping track. I have not rewatched a movie other than stuff for the podcast. I have not watched a movie that I've never seen before in like 8-9 months, something crazy like that. Which I've never done before.
That doesn't sound like you. I'm quite impressed, I must say.
I know. I'm only just watching. I mean, just stuff that just new all the time at this point. So
beautiful. Okay. Well, Eric Pressure, what about you? 2006. I bet you saw this on DVD.
Mike, I remember walking out of the theater in 2006. It was late December. It came out on Christmas Day. I went on Christmas Day, and I mean, there's a point in the movie where our lead character is walking around. He just walks out of a building, and he can't really believe what's going on around him. There's so many explosions, and he's just in disbelief. That was me when I walked out of Brighton Cinema at how little people were talking about the cinematic masterpiece that was going on in the theater inside. Like I could not believe more people were talking about it. And for months and months, that's all I was saying was like, have you seen this? Why is there not more recognition? A lot of it was because the film wasn't heavily promoted, but I was blown away in 2006, man. I'll never forget that experience.
Damn, that is quite impressive. I saw this at the Goodrich Theater, the old Goodrich. These were the Goodrich days when I saw Stranger Than Fiction and Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, I saw a lot of those over there, and this was another example of that. I don't know what it was, but I was excited to see it. I think there was some buzz. People were like, hey, we got to see this movie. It seems like it's a pretty big deal. It seems serious. And so I remember being really blown away, and there was a lot of post excitement and like, man, what did we just watch? It hit people in a way that, like you said, Travis, like sometimes you get out of a movie, you just want to start talking about it. This was one of those movies, I think. It had a lot of points where you wanted to review it and discuss it with your friends because it's very thought-provoking. Very much. Not every movie is. It really isn't. Joe Dirt, it's not thought-provoking. It's fun. It's dumb. Silly. It's not thought-provoking. So this is thought-provoking. But I have not looked up the rating, so I'm going to take a stab at it on IMDb. Yeah, well, you know, Bill O'Reilly says, and Children of Men. I'm going to say this is a very well-respected film, and it's not in the 8s, but it's in the 7s. I'm going to say it's a 7.6.
Yeah, I'm going to say 7.2.
It's higher? Have you looked it up?
It's higher. It's unbelievable. It's right where it belongs.
What is it?
Tell us.
Yeah.
7.9.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought you were going to say in the 8s if it was where it belonged.
This is high elite status.
Where it belongs.
Yeah, that's pretty high up. 7.9 is pretty high.
Ghost Hand is really a fan of this movie. It's kind of weird. It's a movie that deals with underpopulation. Today, we do have the same issue with mostly educated and middle/upper class population. At the same time, overpopulation from poorer spheres, the need for labor, and poverty lead to immigration. Interesting stuff. Thank you, Ghost Hand. Very that's like I see, it's thought-provoking. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, lots to unpack.
As far as Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes is a place where people make opinions about films, and sometimes they don't go our way. You can go your own way, though, if you want, which was a musical tune.
Mike.
Yes, thank you. 92%. 92% from
it's
the
just
critics.
like a hamster in a wheel, and every now and then it gets distracted. And it goes, what was it? Fleetwood Mac? Run. What is this, Liz Fair? Run.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. 92% from the critics. 85 audience digs it. So that's one of the more closer scores we had, because recently there's been some gaps in some of the movies that we have done. Like Closer, there was a gap.
Yeah, this one seems like it's never been. I can't think of a time I've heard someone go, Children of Men, I don't know. Like, it's pretty universally beloved, or at least respected. If people are familiar with it. If you're not familiar with it, you probably can't respect it then. But otherwise, you probably would.
I have to imagine it's on just about every relevant critics top 10 of the 2000s.
Whoa, damn. Okay, well, we'll get more into that. Roger Ebert in 2007 said, Cuarón, Alfonso, right? That's his first name, Alfonso Cuarón?
Yeah.
Fulfills the promise of futuristic fiction. Characters do not wear strange costumes or visit the moon, and the cities are not plastic hallucinations, but look just like today, except tired and shabby. 4 out of 4 stars.
Yeah, this hyper realism that he's kind of getting at here is, I think, one of the main legacies of the movie that people would take from this. I mean, like, remember Terminator Salvation? Like, I remember, like, it's crap, but I remember dude saying at the time, what's his name?
McG?
I remember him saying at the time that like he was deliberately emulating this look. Which, by the way, what's the cinematographer's name? Emmanuel Luzbecki, I want to say. Like, this guy. This guy apparently, like, I never knew the name until like looking it up last night. But like, this guy, he's done like all of Cuarón's movies, and he did like both. He's done like the Inarritu stuff, like the Revenant and Birdman. And he's done a ton of stuff. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's like done some of the biggest, most beautiful movies I've ever seen. And I didn't even know his fucking name. So
Emmanuel Lubezki.
Let's kick things off with high praise. With if we're gonna bring up Cuarón early, I'd like to bring up Lubezki and make that more of a household name, because god damn.
Night of Cups, Birdman, Gravity, Burn After Reading.
Night of Cups is terrible, but it was beautiful.
Revenant.
The New World, which is also it's a beautifully shot film.
Yeah, so he's working with Malick and Inarritu and Cuarón. Like, he's working with some of the best directors.
Mama Tambien. Yeah.
And his next movie is with David O. Russell.
Oh, shit.
Hey, all right. Hopefully that's good. I feel like Russell needs something good here. He's on a cold streak. Actually, he's just been missing. That's fair. Anywho, so the critics, they generally loved it. Roger Moore said, a superior sci-fi thriller and the best doomsday drama since 28 Days Later. How about that, huh?
Remember 007, James Bond, Roger Moore. How many on the film?
Surely there couldn't be any other people named Roger Moore.
No. Not at all. The Philadelphia Inquirer's Stephen Ray says, not that Stephen Ray either.
Kill your own kind.
This is Stephen with a V. Stephen with a V. You guys, that was great.
Just waiting for it. We're always just waiting for the opportunity.
I know, you guys nailed it. It was amazing. The synchronicity is unreal. A dark, terrifying, and sometimes very funny film. How about that?
Oh shit! I don't. Do you guys remember any guffaws here and belly laughs?
There are 4 moments of levity, 2 of which are fine. The other 2 are the fart jokes.
Yes, that blew my mind. Early on in the film, Michael Caine's ripping farts. He's got his bozo hair, and Clive Owen's like, "Oh God, you're farting in the car." I'm like, "Is this happening?" It was mind blowing.
Yeah, it's an odd character. We're going to talk about Jasper character. He's obviously this hippie leftist, but he's kind of like a clown. Is that a comment on like the apathetic nature of the left in 2027 in this world?
He's definitely. Let's not get it. But like, I have a lot to respond to that. So
okay.
I'm going to, because he's a retired political cartoonist, and his wife was an investigative journalist who was tortured into post-traumatic catatonia. So I would say that they both probably did their time being really active, but he's also just got a shitty sense of humor.
I like the stork joke.
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to find Destin Thompson here, but apparently I cannot. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, God damn it. I'm quitting.
I know. I was really hoping he would. I wanted to give a negative review, though, because we haven't seen one of those. Here's one.
Good luck.
There is much about the film that is impressive, but ultimately, we do not care enough about the characters, so our journey is a frustrating one.
So I'm going to have to disagree. Respectfully, I feel like that Key is a little underdeveloped for the importance of her character. I feel like a little bit more time could be spent with her. But I think Theo is extreme. Like, there's a very visible and but at the same time masterfully displayed arc that's taking place within this character on screen, and I think it's just like I very much come to care about his character a great deal.
And to have a character that layered, where it's not just exposition and dialogue telling you about the character, it's just everything he does and everything that the master himself, Quaron, does to show you. The first 30 seconds of the movie, you know everything, not only about the plot, but about your main character. How the hell do you accomplish that?
Dude, like, okay, so you just hit the nail on the head in terms of like you showing instead of telling, right? Like he survives that blast in the beginning. He doesn't give a fuck about the death of baby Diego. He really just wants to get that booze in his coffee and get that, you know, the shakes to stop. And because he's like indifferent, like he's completely indifferent to all this shit. By the end of the movie, that alcohol that he's carried around, it's the only thing he's got to wash his hands, and he dumps it all over his hands without a thought. And like, there's so much in those 2 actions that, you know, again, like, it's not spelled out for you, but like that's a whole fucking arc right there. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's some of the characters typical, but there's typical things about being an alcoholic. There's typical things about living in the kind of world he lives in. So I'm not gonna shit on that. And in terms of caring about the character, I think you probably do a pretty good job of analyzing that, Travis. I don't care about him in the beginning because there's nothing to like, but since it's such a long journey and it's so detailed and nuanced over the entire experience of the film, it's not something where you just buy in. You have to earn it sometimes. Yeah. Some movies that you easily buy in, you just like, there's likability. Mm-hmm. In this film, you're right. It's very much a slow burn. And in the end, though, I'm very much with him all the way. I think you're right.
You got to watch, and you also got to listen, because I missed it the first time, but it's in about 30 seconds, you get this exchange between Jasper and Theo, where Theo talks about, hey, regardless of the fact that the world is infertile, we were fucked before that even happened. So you can tell how much of a cynic he is and his responsive nature.
I don't know how cynical that is. I think that's pretty accurate. Like, I'm watching this movie, I'm seeing only a slight over amplification of the problems that exist as they already are in our world, and then throw in this whole infertility thing, which is again also a real problem that's happening in the world. The population rate, like the birth rate is plummeting.
Population ordinance.
No, I don't mean like
he's talking about the real world.
In the real world, the actual fertility rate is tumbling. Like, people are having less and less and less children. But so like all this stuff is all very much happening. So, you know, it doesn't seem grotesque or out of any bounds to me.
Yeah, it's funny that I haven't seen this movie in forever. I don't remember it the way I saw it at all. To me, it was like watching the movie all over again because I have not seen it in a long ass time. It's not something, you said you watched it a few times over the years. It's been a little bit, but I hadn't seen this movie in forever. So for me, I knew there's something. The only thing in my mind was like, okay, Clive Owen's in it. There's a journey and there's a baby. That's all I had going for me. And I remembered Michael Caine's bozo hair. That's pretty much all I remembered. So a lot of this stuff was a whole new experience with a completely different lens this time. And the atmosphere, I don't know why I get caught up in this, but I start looking around at the cars and everything. I'm like, okay, is this realistic? Was this what cars would look like? Shit like that. And I actually got annoyed when the bomb blows up early in the movie at the coffee shop. I looked at some cars that were driving by. I'm like, that's bullshit. That car looks like it was there in 2006. It bothered me, but it's not going to ruin the movie for me. But
that's one of the most interesting things about it, because in a world where there is no future and all you're doing is waiting around to die, you're not going to have a lot of I mean, who would care about advancements in cosmetic things like cars and television and culture?
Right. Ooh. No, that's it exactly. The main problem is not the infertility; it's the hopelessness that's caused by the infertility. No one gives a shit about anything anymore. And like, you go out in the world right now, you're going to see cars from 20 years ago on the road. And if you went to Cuba right now, say, where things are like where people don't work and things look a lot more like they look in, like you're going to find cars from the 1950s still on the road. Like the poorer the conditions, the more you're going to see things. And Britain, for as much as it touts how great it's doing, obviously the rest of the world is doing very, very poorly because Britain's not doing good.
Yeah. All right, that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. So in that respect, you're right. They absolutely nail it. The experience, the political intrigue here, does that get you guys going at all? Because this very much is like a politically driven film to not just social. It's clearly social concepts, massive immigration and discrimination and racism, and all these things are going on. At the same time, there's these parties. They all want a piece of the action. They think they know what's best. I couldn't help but not think about which of these people actually does know best, and why are we so obsessed with that instead of coming together? This is about disunity. I see that as a big theme in this movie.
Sure.
You're talking about people that are entailed in a revolution that's only going to take them through the next, 40, 50 years of their lifetimes. So when's the last time you saw that in a movie about, an apocalypse, in politically speaking, or in any social dynamic? They're only living out the rest of their lives. So these upheavals are only based on what they think is right in the moment. That's why you have people that are bureaucrats turn into these essential terrorists, because they are fighting for what they think they should happen right now, and it's only going to last them a certain amount of time.
Oh, that's a great point too. I guess the stakes here are huge, so there's a lot of pressure coming from every angle. And I find out at the farmhouse where, Theo's in this moment where he can bail out. When he's there after they kill the cops and she dies, Julianne Moore's character, can't remember her name, she's dead. So now he's like, well, all right, I'll just go back to London. Thank you. That'll be it. I'll go back to London, just get my ass back there. I tried to do my best. But he buys in. He doesn't have to. And that's the only time where I question whether he would really do that or not, because the stakes still aren't enough. But I guess I can't put myself in the situation where we're in a world where seeing someone pregnant would be so mind-blowing. Like, I'm trying to imagine that.
So that, but how mind-blowing is it really? So it kind of is, obviously. But when we talk about, to get back to kind of connect this together, the different pushing and pulling between different groups that want this baby. They want this baby as a symbol, right? The fishes want the symbol. They want, like, hey, follow us. Let's start the uprising. We are the future. The government is using baby Diego and then shifting to whoever is just like, distraction, whatever. Theo alone and Julianne, I'm not sure, Julianne Moore's character, they alone want to do the right thing, which is simply make sure that baby is taken care of and safe, and that he is safe. And that's the only thing. They're not interested in any other thing. Just they're interested in the life and the safety of that baby and the mother. And that is, that's why, like, and we know that, like, the two sides wrestling over the symbol wouldn't give a fuck ultimately, because when the baby is actually seen in the being carried out of the building, and like everything grinds to a halt and everyone's amazed, It doesn't bring world peace. It doesn't stop the problems. It stops everything for a total of like a minute. And then everything and people are still getting shot even as they're looking at the baby in awe. So like, and then it just picks right back up again, and the world is unchanged. So like, they're the only ones that really were ever going to do the right thing is just by simply doing the right thing, not by following any kind of ideology or trying to like, have some specific agenda. Just fucking do the right thing for whatever situation.
Yeah, we're talking about what has it been, like 20 years of this situation happening. That's why one of my favorite scenes is with Chiwetel 4, when he notices Theo trying to get the baby, and in his mind, this baby, it's not even about this hope for humanity. It's just this goal. So just by hearing that it's not a boy, it's a girl, resets his mind, and he thinks of it as just this completely separate thing, and yet he still knows he's fucked. So he just continues the war. It's like.
And he shoots Theo. I actually never realized that until watching it last night. I always, there's a whole hail of bullets. I always figured it makes sense that Theo caught one, and one of them at least would catch one somewhere. But I never realized it's actually Luke that shoots him in that moment. Like, tragic.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right about that. Well, we're talking about Children of Men here on the Cinema 9 podcast. Does it hold up? We're ticking. We got a long way to go before we get there still.
We do. We really do.
Can we go back to the overall layout of this movie? It does deserve a ton of credit for the way it's designed, the way it looks, the awful, beautiful disaster that you see around you in London, in England, is really well done. And I have a lot of respect for the set designers and everybody on this film, because it doesn't have to look futuristic, but it is in the future, and that doesn't end up being a problem. Despite my complaining about the cars and stuff, you completely changed my mind once you made your point, Travis. So I want to give this film full marks for really creating an environment that I could actually feel would exist.
It's so true. And the Quran has the wherewithal to not just shoot the narrative. The camera is got a life of its own, so it actually will drift away from the characters and just show you these internment camps, or show you what's going on next door, and just leave its main characters. You don't see that a lot, the cinema verite style, especially in a post-apocalyptic movie.
These extended shots in this movie,
oh Jesus,
like they heighten the tension to such a degree. I mean, that's partly why 1917 is the only it's the only movie I can think of where like this kind of stuff is happening, because it happens throughout this movie, where there's just like these long uninterrupted cuts. And like, if you're watching a movie that's just like people talking, doing that, like, I start to feel tension rise in me as I wait for some sort of visual break. Like, it just creates tension just in that, like the movie Rope, for instance. But like, like what's happening here, you have these extremely choreographed like battles taking place, like where if one person doesn't catch a ping pong ball in their mouth at the right moment, hang on, we gotta back up and do this shit all over again. Like there's some serious orchestration going on here, but it creates this sense of constancy and realism that just really embeds you, like, because it's not just the production design like you're talking about, Mike, which is fantastic. It's like the film work, the direction itself, like, just creates this mood, this vibe that like you are fucking living this.
Yeah, and the story is nothing but hopelessness and unease in war. The camera doesn't even give you 1 second of peace yourself, so you cannot escape it. Even in the farmhouse scenes where things kind of quiet down, there's a little movement in the camera. You cannot take 1 minute to breathe.
Or when the camera gets spattered with blood, and we're just doing that now. It draws out our attention as a viewer to, like, yes, we're watching the movie, but somehow it makes it more real, like it's suddenly like this documentary feel somehow. It's bizarre.
Did anybody ever read the novel, which is called The Children of Men, not Children of Men, just for the record?
No, I never read it.
No, you guys are missing out. Let me tell you about it. No, I'm just kidding. I never read it either. But this is there's a lot of religious overtones, I feel like, in this too. Like,
yep. Yeah,
Jesus
absolutely.
Christ, the baby. I don't know. There's something going on here. I can't quite.
Oh, dude. When she shows her pregnant belly and she's standing around all the cows being mechanically milked, and like the light is like streaming on her, like, subtle, Quran.
Very subtle. Yeah, they're heightened, and I think P.D. James literally wrote it as a Christian parable. But what's interesting to me is that Quaron did not read the book. So for a filmmaker to adapt a book and not even bother reading the novel, he read the synopsis and then just went and told his screenwriter to come up with something, and he tossed a lot of the stuff out of the novel out for the better. I don't know.
Oh man,
that's why he cut the
concept.
Yeah.
I guess.
The premise. Wow.
Yeah, he barely. Yeah, that's totally true. That's exactly what happened. And I don't know if the guy who wrote the novel was pissed about that or not. But
well, it's a woman.
So angry.
It's a woman. She's passed. It's a female. I said it's a female, P.D. James, and she's since passed. But I think she was pretty happy with the film.
No, we made assumptions.
I'm fired.
Yeah,
You're fired.
Oh,
look, P.D. James, you gave us this gift, which allowed Alfonso Cuarón to turn in an incredibly well-done film with great acting. In fact, the acting, I think about it, it's not like mind-blowing to me. I mean, it's more about the atmosphere and the stakes and the tense, that is the intense nature of this film that is created without the acting. I think the acting is kind of just there in this movie. It's not like I was like, wow, what a riveting performance. I could never imagine this movie without so-and-so.
Well, Clive Owen is mostly reacting because, like, it's like he remember like when he has the moment where he can, like oh, my ex-wife who just showed up to kidnap me. My ex-wife is dead, and I have 30 seconds to cry and try and get the blood off my hands. But for the most of when he watches his best friend get killed, he has to be like, everything's fine, we got to go. Like, he doesn't, like, it's merciless. He doesn't have the time to mourn or like have like, so like the as far as the acting goes, like, it's all very in the moment, so you don't get a lot of like these moments where, there's no soliloquies, it's more just like just kind of like watching him panic and run around like fucking McClane barefoot or in sandals through most of the thing.
McClane, it's like being in war. That's what's going on here. Like, because you were just like reacting to survive. That's exactly what it is.
And that battle scene of him like going into the building and trying to get, like, and the bullets are hailing all around, and then like the opening of Revenant, like, clearly again, this guy Lubezki, shit, I already forgot. Emmanuel, the cinematographer. Anyway, I've already forgotten. This guy clearly is Lubezki. This guy clearly is particularly good at doing like warfare, because the opening of Revenant and that sequence right there are some of the best like battle sequences I've seen on film.
Period. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys know that Michael Caine based his performance on John Lennon?
I was thinking that the first time I saw the movie. I found it very interesting. Oh, yeah, I dig Michael Caine in the film. One scene that I remember not really caring for in the theater, but I appreciate a hell of a lot more nowadays is the Danny Houston scene when he goes to see Nigel.
Oh, dude.
I just, I think there's so much there. And when you put two and two together, this guy's collecting these beautiful works of art for what? And the only response he can say is that he doesn't think about what's going on around him. Come on,
he pops a pill. Yeah, he's got Guernica and the David just hanging out in his house where nobody can see him but him and his son. Basically, no one sees this shit. And outside, very subtly, the fucking cover of that Pink Floyd album is taking place. But like, it's a protest pig. Like there's extreme unrest going on outside his doors, and like he's just living the most fabulous and elite rich life that a person could possibly lead, and raising a child in that environment who was fucking miserable. You can't appreciate it.
Yeah, and he's a government official too. So did you guys need any more of like any input from his type of class in this situation, or was that response enough?
Yeah, I think that said everything.
I just want to know what's going on with this kid. What was the deal there?
He's disaffected.
Yeah, the Power Glove, man. He's playing Rag Racer.
I know.
He's disaffected. He doesn't know what's going on out in the world. I mean, like anyone else, like his problems are, Dad doesn't pay attention to me, and like he's got his own, like he's got real problems, but like they're not like the same problems that everybody else has to deal with.
I got problems, man. Yeah, I just didn't really. That, to me, that scene, frankly, it's cool that we get that look at what's going on. Art is fading. They mention in the afterthought. So yes, too bad what happened in Spain. More art was lost. Things are going away. They're losing things forever. Things that a lot of people cherish. But otherwise, it's just a link to get this papers going so the story can continue. I don't take too much from that part of the movie. I don't.
Well, so I mean, like that to me is, I mean, again, like I think it's important because it helps flesh out the world that's taking place, like and not in a way that's like the opening of the movie where you're getting like literal news. I fucking hate when exposition in movies is being delivered to us through the news.
Come on, it's classic,
like,
man.
I know it's classic, and it's a convenient way to do things, but like it's always like, okay. So I think it's a good way of like letting us know what's happening in the movie or in the world in that movie without like and there's other things happening throughout the movie that like they give us all these context clues too, like when they roll into Beck's Hell, and they're like getting in there, and you see like the reality of the immigrant situation. Like, yeah, this isn't so much camps. Like some of these people are getting bags put over their heads and assassinated right there before they even get in. Like,
that's true. Except for RoboCop, by the way. RoboCop did great job with exhibition of news. I want to make that clear. That's an exception.
There I mean, I'm not saying it's always terrible. I'm just saying that like generally it's kind of ham-fisted.
Well, just if I may go back to that scene with Nigel, I mean, it's saying a ton more because the arc of Theo kind of gets a little bit lost in this insanely gorgeous war proceedings. But we're talking about a man who goes from hopelessness, complete despair, to eventually having a glimmer of hope. And part of his journey is literally hearing from someone who's supposed to have a major part in the political arena, saying it doesn't matter. I turned a blind eye. So it makes Theo look at him and say, well, I care. I give a shit. Yeah. And it's starting to make him, have more of a role in this possible positive outcome.
That's a really good point, because I mean the movie starts again with him just being so indifferent, but we learn as the movie goes along that at one point he was a protester, he was active, he was involved in this shit, but he started to work for the government, like trying to make change from within, I guess, and like became all just like jaded and unconcerned with things, and like a lot of people, since the things aren't affecting him personally, he's able to just stroll about in the world and get his coffee and like I'm a cis hetero white dude that's born here and I don't have any issues. I can just live my life and be grumpy and an alcoholic. But like, but we see, Julian and like events like kind of like pull him out of this. And you're right. Like what his friend, what Danny Houston's character does with him, like all this stuff helps galvanize him back into action.
He put ketamine in the cop's coffee once upon a time. This guy was hardcore. He wouldn't fuck around. Theo was your classic idealist who becomes part of the machine. It's a typical part of a lot of stories, but it's because that's what happens. See, this young energy you feel, and you have this point of view that's not, you could call it jaded or changed or redefined, however you want to call it, but that is part of the experience, in at least of this society. You grow up and you have all these ideas, and then by the time you're in your 30s, remember swimming with sharks, if what was that old line about? Something about if you're not liberal in your 20s, you got no heart.
All that.
If you're not conservative by your 30s, you got no brains. In the end, this is a routine path. I don't love it. I'm not down with it, but it is pretty typical, and I don't blame him, because
we're talking about a man who he lost a kid through chance, and
exactly
everything around him is just happening by happenstance. So
that's really undervalued part of the whole situation. He's in pain, so that's the other reason. It's not just because he's in a society where this is the path and this is just how things are. Yes, he is avoiding everything. He's not putting himself into anything because he lost so much already. That's exactly what's happening.
And speaking of all the prescient things in this film, a 2008 flu epidemic that they lost their son in, which also I'm guessing the flu epidemic is what drove the sterility. I'm thinking, because it seems like since 2009 or so is when it stops. So that would make sense.
Yeah,
like there's some sort of it's some sort of after effect. I don't say it, but I like that they don't spell it out. But that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. I don't even care how things happen. It's just obvious things happen, and this is the world we're living in now. Yeah, and that's what's good about. That's a quality part of this film is I don't need to have everything spoon fed to me. I think I like films where, like we watched back with The Place Beyond the Pines, where everything that's going on, but he didn't lay it all out for you in chapter and verse. And I dig that. That's the kind of storytelling like this I like. Okay, I understand the stakes. I know what kind of world we're in. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? How's it going to play out?
There's this beautiful subtlety in the film involving pets, and I didn't think about it when I first saw it. But
No, you're right.
everybody
It's not
has a
subtle,
pet
but
because they need this attachment
They can't
to
have kids.
something
shitting
young
me?
and innocent.
Oh, man, I was going to bring this up. I have to say this. I was going to bring this up. I get so annoyed in movies where the director telegraphs, hey, this guy's a good guy. Even though he's not a good guy right now, the animals like him. The
cat's
dog
climbing
likes him.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
When he comes up to the farm, the guy's
No
like,
one
oh,
likes the dogs.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so.
They don't like anybody. And I just saw a movie like this like a week ago where this gets done in film. So it's
No,
not a big deal.
I agree. No, the whole making like letting you know that the protagonist is actually a good guy because the pets like him thing is kind of dumb. But Eric, your point that like everyone has dogs in this movie because they can't have kids. Like when Key's actually giving birth, like there's like dogs barking in a crescendo. Which by the way, like the only moment that I'm more afraid, like when the baby's in the building and everyone's like there's bullets going everywhere, like I'm very nervous and scared for this baby. But when Malinka is carrying her dog around her, the dog fight, I'm like, get that fucking dog somewhere safe, Malinka. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, you would say that. I agree. That's true.
Concerned for the dogs and babies of the film.
All right, so we're getting close to the end here, guys. Any final comments? Any few more things we got to cover before we wrap this puppy up? Is there anything that you really wanted to say about Children of Men that we didn't get to? I mean, we've talked political intrigue, we've talked social issues, children, the lifespan, humanity continuing on. Does it matter? Shouldn't we end humanity anyways? Call it a day.
Well, you talk about prescience. We haven't gotten into refugees, asylum seekers. But that's
Fugees!
pretty on the news.
I kept thinking of the Fugees every time they said that. I was like, ready or not, here I come.
To the point that
Lauryn Hill over and over again.
To the point that they put him, Liz Fair, Lauryn Hill, and
Lilith Fair.
Yeah, Lilith Fair. No, yeah, to the point that they actually ghettoize these people. They create an actual fucking ghetto and just throw them all in there and let them have assault rifles and just fucking let them tear each other to shreds. We don't give a shit. It's Australia in 1700. Who cares? It's wild. That's
true.
And again, like there's so much happening in this movie. That's like this is only just a slight tweak on what's really taking place. And it's really it's a tough watch, but it's also like watching the news.
I don't think you can. It's always important to think about when a movie was made, what was going on in the world at the time.
Yeah.
And if you think about the period of time, 2006, it's a post 9/11 world, 5 years after 9/11. You also have Bush and Cheney and all these things, the war in Iraq, all this stuff is going on, and people are immigration issues. Again, people were being blamed unfairly for things, not just in America, but even in England and
it's
Western societies, I guess, if I don't know a better word for it. So I think this film was also trying to send a message about what was going on at the time as well.
Oh, like
which
all
is still
sci-fi.
an issue.
Right. Well, like all sci-fi, it's not really talking about the future. It's talking about now, and that's part of the reason why I think they made the stylistic choice of having it look like fucking now.
Yeah, I actually thought of V for Vendetta a few times when I was watching this, only because they're both based in London and they came out a year apart. And
there's some similarities there.
Yeah,
they're both clearly influenced by 1984. There's some stuff happening here. Yeah.
It's like a dark world, a dark overlord is controlling everything. There's no fun. There's no freedom of speech. Yada yada. There's a lot of parallels there, but this is a much more serious movie. V for Vendetta was kind of comical at times.
This is more adult. I mean, it's not based on a graphic novel, which I think graphic novels are very adult. Don't get me wrong.
Sure,
but I mean,
Watchmen's very graphic.
Road for Perdition. We talked about that, but it's there's a different. Yeah, this is a very this could have been and should have been. I don't know. Was it nominated for anything like this? This should have been,
dude. Criminally, Alfonso Cuarón wasn't nominated for a director, and we're talking about one of the best achievements in direction.
It was nominated for 3 Oscars, guys. Just for the record,
what was it?
Cinematography, editing, and I think sound. It's like
best writing, adapted screenplay, best achievement in cinematography, Emmanuel Lubezki, and best achievement in film editing.
Who won over Lubezki?
I'll have to look it up. I'm just getting the nominees. I'll effort that.
I think it was Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh,
Unbelievable. It's really good.
Why would someone do that?
And and Pan's Labyrinth is fantastic and like ooh, like very like this movie's like it's dry in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like the brilliance of this movie, the direction and the cinematography could be lost on someone. I think the first time that they watched it pretty easily.
Yeah, you're right, Eric. Eric was right.
Yeah, and not to compare, but Guillermo's film was so controlled. Whereas this environment that they had to shoot was just in such disarray that you had to capture these moments, and that in of itself is a huge achievement.
Exactly. There's just like chaos going on, and they're just like panning around. I mean, like again, like just panning all around. Especially again, like the fucking scene where the car comes rolling down the hill on fire, and the people come rolling out. But the scene had already been going for like a full minute and a half or something before that, just of people talking in a car.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. This movie is it's just masterfully done. You know, and if they weren't dealing with such heavy subject matter and like all these major themes and stuff, I'd still like I wouldn't even care. Like, what is this movie about? Like, someone's got like some dude lost his car. I don't care. Like, you know, what is the premise? I don't care. It's so expertly like executed that I would always want to return to it.
Dude, where's my car? Children of Men version. Yes, settle in.
If they ever reboot, Dude, Where's My Car? Set it in like 2027 with this degree of cinematography.
Dude, I'm in. I'm totally in. By the way, the writing adapted screenplay winner that year was The Departed, which
great screenplay by Bill Monahan, so beautiful.
Okay, fine.
I never saw Infernal Affairs, so I can't really compare.
Oh, I've seen that. It's something. All right, let's cut the crap. It's time to wrap it up. It's time to find out. Does Children of Men hold up? Travis, you kind of telegraphed a bit, so why don't you go first? I feel like it's pretty clear.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't trying to hide my hand this time. This movie's a masterpiece. It's one of the best movies of the 2010s. I mean, I would put it maybe I haven't sat down to make it. Yes, the 2000s. Sorry, I haven't sat down to make a list or anything, but I imagine it would be in the top 5 for me easily of the decade. I mean, it's a masterpiece and it absolutely holds up, no questions.
Eric, you want to go or should I go?
Well, I mean, what else can you say? We got a movie, and like it's a cautionary tale, yes, but it works in the best way that science fiction always does. We talk about this all the time. Social allegory for where we are, where we could be headed. You're dabbling in populism, authoritarianism, righteous abdication, and it's presented in this way that is just completely breathtaking. It's so easy to be apathetic in cinema, especially during the Iraq War in the early 2000s. So to bring a movie with such hope and such a fantastic, beautiful message was jaw-dropping. Still to this day holds up completely.
Don't forget, Passion of the Christ came out in the 2000s, Travis. I just want to make sure you include that in your top 5.
Incredible movie. I know. I remember the day that I saw that. No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well,
what can you say?
Yeah, you guys said it all. I'm not going to say this movie doesn't hold up. It definitely holds up. It 1,000% holds up. But I was kind of not feeling it in my watch. But it definitely holds up.
You did not fast forward. I will reach through my screen right now.
I did. Yes. There's a couple parts where
when did the long shots, the best parts of the movie?
No, there's a part when they're at the Michael Caine's house and they're drinking coffee and Key's blabbing on about like something, how she's swanky or so suave or some shit.
Michael, did you miss the part in that very scene where they talked about Quietus, which was the self-suicide machine?
Oh, shit, I might have missed that time.
Yeah,
I did that fast forward the first time I saw it. So.
Sometimes when you fast forward stuff, you
miss shit, Mike.
I've seen the movie before, though.
But it's not like you are a host on a movie podcast where you would be expected to know things about the film you're just sitting down to discuss.
Hey, the good news is, guys, I have such good friends and amazing co-hosts like you two. If I miss anything, you guys are gonna fill the gaps. So
don't lean on me, bro.
That's my homework. That's my foundation. Yeah, you're right. Do your own homework. So, Children of Men, it holds up. It's always gonna hold up. At least on this show. I don't know. Maybe there's other shows that are
it's a masterpiece.
Different views about society. They might think this doesn't hold up, but not here. We're down. 2 thumbs up. Well done, guys. Children of Men. Go check it out. If you never saw it, it would be odd that you're listening to the pod at this point.
The future is a biracial woman is the message of that movie, which is probably the case. Very much.
That's fantastic.
So. Yeah.
I am all totally down with that. Let's do this. I'm ready.
Is her name a little too on the nose? She's
I'm at the baby. Yeah, you're right. Key.
Yeah,
that is not very subtle.
There it is. Thank you so much for listening to the Cinema 9 podcast. It's another episode that is about to be in the can. We have got to announce our 1 year anniversary episode. Now, we made this decision about 6 weeks ago or so. We just said, it's just a clear choice. It's the 1 year anniversary. We've done 1 year of Cinema 9 Pod. It's literally the day we started, April 8th, 2020. Next week, April 8th is a Thursday, which is when we do our show. So April 8th, 2021. For those of you that listen to the podcast, you should not be surprised. Travis Roy, what are we doing next week?
Well, we're doing a movie we talked about the most on this show. We're doing Bulworth. No, I'm just kidding. We're doing First Reformed. We're breaking our 5-year rule. But I'm excited. I've not watched it since I first watched it. I've only seen it the one time, despite my my much acclaimed love for it. So I'm looking forward to. I kind of figured over the course of the past year, I'm like, I probably shouldn't watch that anytime soon because I feel like it might end up on the pod once it's 5 years. Once it's 5 years down, and Mike is holding a copy in his hand right now.
There it is. This is my Blu-ray copy. That was a lovely holiday gift from Travis Roy. So look at that. Look how intense that face is.
I sent you the physical copy, which I knew you didn't need, but. It's this show.
This is the only Blu-ray I have. Everything else is just regular DVD. This is truly the only Blu-ray I have. But look,
do you have a Blu-ray player? I don't think I asked before I sent it.
Oh yeah, I got a PlayStation 4. I think it plays Blu-rays. So, but this is Ethan Hawke. Better than ever. It says
career-defining performance.
Yeah, look at that. Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out again.
We're fucked if we all hate it.
Yeah.
I must have been drunk that day.
Deary's bummed out. No Roadhouse. Oh, sorry.
We already know that holds up, Chris.
If this was a feast podcast, we definitely would have done Roadhouse, but it's not a feast podcast. It's a movie podcast, and you never know what kind of jokes become part of the routine. And Paul Schrader has been a running gag on this show for a long time, so First Reformed just makes sense. Will I fast forward through this one? That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Look, it's an unneeded question. We know he's going to fast forward through 20% of it.
I got to tell you this. I haven't seen it.
You're a very busy man. We know.
Yes. Well, we're all busy. Yes. But I have not seen it since I saw it in the theater. So I've only seen this movie once.
That's what I was just saying.
So
we better like it.
Yeah. You've only seen it once too, Eric?
I've only seen it once. So if we're all like, it must have caught me on a really great day where I won the lottery, was drinking martinis all night and super favorable for some reason.
So there really will be a question of whether or not it holds up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tune in. It might not.
I saw it on the outskirts of Annapolis over at the Arundel Mills, Arundel Mall. Yeah, it was great. It was a beautiful night.
Privacy of my home.
Oh, well, I wish you guys were there. I remember when I got out of the theater, I instantly contacted Eric. I was like, dude, you gotta see this.
We can skip this section when we get to this part where we talk about our first time watching the movie next week because we just did it now.
I'm getting so excited. All right, I'm going to calm down.
We'll go straight to talking about it being overindulgent trash from a mega maniacal.
Regroup and in a couple hours and do the show now.
Yeah, why not? It's only 8:40. Cool. I'll tell you this. 1 year next week. It's pretty cool. Me, Travis, and Eric are very grateful for the fact that anybody that every week somebody shows up to watch and listen to us. It's pretty cool, and we don't take that for granted. We're very grateful for the fact that we can do this together, talking about movies, good times, good friends.
Yep.
What else could we ask for?
Nothing. It's been a wild ride. I had so much fun.
Thank you. Yes. Buy a DVD for your friend. 3 months later, he still hasn't watched it. Because what Travis said, I knew that this might come up. I didn't want to spoil it.
So. It was a token. I never even expected him to watch it at all.
No, you're right. I really had no idea that we'd end up doing this, but I thought maybe someday. But anyways, it's not something. I'll talk about it next week. I got more comments.
We got plenty to say about First Reformed on the Cinema 9 podcast.
That's right. Save it for the podcast next week. Thanks, Chris. Thank you to Steve Laskowski. Thank you to Ghost Hand 246. Very engaged in the show. Clearly a big Children of Men fan, so we appreciate you tuning in. If you like other movies, we got 50 other episodes at your disposal. Dick Tracy, True Romance.
Margot at the Wedding.
Leading with Dick Tracy and Margot at the Wedding, huh, guys?
I started at the beginning. I was just starting from the top, but he said Margot at the Wedding. That was
Magnolia was number 2. Where's that one? Anyway.
True Romance was number 1. You're right. True Romance, Magnolia, Dick Tracy. Anyways, thanks, everybody. We're out of here. We'll catch you next week for our 1 year anniversary show. Make sure you wear your tuxedos.
Hell of a day.